Today's decision has been one of the hardest that I've had to make. In my career in disability law and policy, I chose not to focus on debates about whether disabled people should be born or whether we should die. Instead, I focused on enabling disabled people to live better, more fulfilling lives. Today, I find myself voting in a way that I thought I never would. I will be voting in favour of moving the bill to the next stage of the legislative process. That has been a difficult journey for me. I've arrived here by looking at the evidence, reflecting on my own lived experience and listening to the many, many constituents who've written to me in support of the bill, sharing their compelling and tragic stories of death. Death which didn't come with dignity or respect. In reflecting on my own life, one moment from my childhood stood out. When I was 6 years old, I had major surgery on my hips. I was in body plaster from my chest to my ankles, in so much pain and requiring so much morphine that my skin began to itch. I remember vividly laying in a hospital bed in Sheffield Children's Hospital and saying to my parents, "I want to die. Please let me die." I needed to escape from that body that I was inhabiting. That moment has come back to me all these years later. That moment made it clear to me that if this bill was about intolerable suffering, I would not be voting for it. I have subsequently had a good life, a fulfilling life, a life where I've worked towards ensuring disabled people are valued by our society. But that moment also gave me a glimpse of how I would want to live my death, just as I've lived my life, empowered by choices available to me, living that death with the dignity and respect and having the comfort of knowing that I might have control over that very difficult time. For so often, control is taken away from disabled people in all sorts of circumstances. In order to ensure that there's compassionate choice at the end of life, it is right that this bill is tightly drawn around the final stage of terminal illness for adults and includes the strongest safeguards. The choice of assisted dying as one option for adults when facing 6 months terminal illness must be set alongside the choice of receiving the best possible palliative and end-of-life care, or it is no choice at all. Having analysed the bill closely, therefore, there are changes that I would want to see at committee stage to strengthen those options and ensure that the way that choice is presented by medical practitioners is always in the round. People deserve dignity in death, and for those who do not choose to end their lives in this way, they and their loved ones should feel reassured and safe in the knowledge they will receive the very best of care. I'd also want to ensure the final stages of this bill properly define dishonesty, coercion and pressure. I think it's necessary to embed mandatory language in the bill around the need for a code of practice on palliative care, as well as improving the regulations on training for medical practitioners.